Alright, what's up guys? Sponge here, and I kinda wanted to start a series. I've been thinking about doing it for a while. I finally decided to man up and make this first video. But so I'm doing Fallout Shelter. The game is free on PS4, and I played it a little bit. I thought I liked it. So now I'm here. So I kinda wanted to make the first episode, since I'm starting off. A lot of people probably have a lot of questions. So this is going to be kind of like a beginner's guide for the first couple episodes, just so you know what to do. So normally you'd have a dude that kind of tells you everything to do. It's tips, if you were to have tips on. But I'm going to explain everything a little bit more in detail, just so, you know, it's not kind of like telling you exactly what to do and not why you should do it. So when you first load up your new vault, first thing you should get is a living quarters. What the living quarters is going to do is it's going to allow you to keep more people in your vault. And more people is more production and just more stuff in general. You need people. Doesn't matter where you put it. Gives you 5 options. I'm just going to put it there. So now that I have a living quarters, I can hold more people. Next thing you're going to want to get is these 3 main things. You have the power generator, which gives you power to your vault. You have the diner, which is going to supply food to your dwellers, which is what the people are called in this game. And you're going to need a water treatment for, obviously, water. So I'm going to put in my power generator right here. And now this is where stuff gets a little confusing. So if you look over at your people, you'll notice that there's a bunch of lines and letters, and it says special. All those letters stand for a specific stat. So for example, S is strength, and so on. Now when you get a room, the first thing you're going to notice in the shop is all these rooms actually have letters on it. So you have strength, agility, perception, and so on. Now all that means is, if you go back to the stats and you notice them, some bars are high. For example, this person, his best stat is strength. Now if you were to put him in the power generator room, which is also strength, it's going to make him work a lot faster there. But for example, if he has a lower stat. I can't check his stat right now. Okay, so he has a lower perception. Perception is a water skill to make water quicker. So if I was to put him in there, he wouldn't be doing as the best work he could where he's doing power. Like, he'll work way quicker while he's making power instead of producing water. Normally you do have a couple good stat people. For example, this person has a lot of precision, which is good for water. This person has a lot of agility, which is good for the dining room. Then you're going to get a lot of kind of low everything. And I just call those average people. So now that we can power up a building, we're going to need to get food and water going. So I'm going to place that there, and then I'm going to get my water. I'm just going to place it under it. Okay, so I'm going to find the best agility person, which is this man right here, and I'm going to put him in there. Okay, so now while he's walking over there, I'm going to get my water person and put her in there. Okay, so now we've got the basics. We're producing power, we're producing food, and we're producing water. Now that's what you need to survive in this game. So now, I mean, what I like to do is I like to find the next best stat for every room, even though they're lower than normal. It doesn't really matter. So for example, her best stat is agility, so I'll go ahead and put her in the dining room. So this is kind of a flat character. I'll go into that in a second. Okay, so this person has decent strength, which means she can go in the generator. Now I'm looking for a precision. And nobody has different precision. But since you can fit 2 people in the water area, you might as well do it because it's just going to make it produce quicker. So as you can see, there's timers for when the stuff gets produced. So I'll have food in 1 minute and 7 seconds. And so on. Okay, so now I have 3 people left over. The rest of the stats, like E, C, I, and L, those are used later in the game. But now, pretty much, since you still have 330 caps by this point, you can choose to upgrade one of your rooms. And the way that you do that is you just go into the shop and you buy another one of them and you put them next to each other. So I'm gonna upgrade my generator. I'm gonna make a bigger generator room just for in the future when I want more buildings. The more rooms you have, the more power you need to keep the vault powered. So now these two connect and we get a big generator room. So now if we wanted to, we could put all these people in there. But this should be fine. I should be able to survive just on these 3 things. Now there isn't a lot you can do right now because you're kind of waiting. Another mechanic in the game is rush. You'll see it's up on the D-pad to rush. And the way this works is, say I wanted to rush the water. So if I click rush, it's gonna come up with this screen. So I have a 32% chance to fail this rush. But if I complete it successfully, I will get 32 monies or caps or whatever you want to call it and 64 XP. Now this is a decent way of getting money because you can't always get it that quickly. And the more you rush a room, the higher chance to fail it will become. So if I was to rush this room, let's see if I can do it or if I fail. Okay, so it worked. So I got my water immediately, which is sometimes nice in case you're in like an emergency situation and you're low on food or water. If you were to fail a rush, the incidents that happen is there's bugs that'll come in your rooms and attack your people. Early game, they're usually not that big of an issue. They happen quite often, just randomly. And your room can also start on fire. Now as long as you have people dealing with these incidents, they won't spread to other rooms. So you don't want to kind of let that go untouched. You want to make sure you deal with those incidents right away. So another thing would be exploring. So let's talk about exploring. You need an extra person in your vault so you can send them off exploring. Now since it's early in the game, as you can see, we don't really have any items or weapons or anything for our characters. So what you want to do, you want to drag them out here and you want to click explore. Now this is going to make your character go out, gather items for you, and just get you a bunch of loot in general. Early game, it's nice to have more than one person out exploring. It's just easier to do it that way. But another thing you really want to be careful of is not having too many people in your vault, because your vault can't support unlimited people. The more people you add, the more your resources drain. So you don't want to be losing food and water. You always want to have them capped out. And what that's going to do is it's going to make your people happy. If you see the smiley face up there in the top right corner of the stats, it's at 75%. And your character's happiness will go down if there's not enough food or water, or if the rooms are shut off because there's not enough power, or if they get attacked in general, or just somehow basically lose HP. And it goes up by a couple of things, and one of it's being full HP. And another thing that you can do later in the game is you can actually make them have a baby, basically, I guess you could call it. And that makes them happy because they go into a relationship, etc. So that'll get them up to 100. that's about it for the basics. I'm gonna go ahead and send some more people out. Once again, you just want to be careful with how many people you add to your vault. You don't want your vault to shut down and run out of resources. That would be very bad. So I'm gonna send this guy out exploring. See, as you can see, it's already full. It's not that big of a deal if it does get full. Okay, so this is the person basically exploring. You'll see a log of everything they do. None of it really matters, but you can see on the bottom everything they have. So the first symbol is actually like meds, like stuff to heal her. The second one is called a raid-away, which gets rid of radiation, because she'll get radiation over time and start to die, so you don't want to have her out there too long. And then you also have caps, which they can find caps as they're going and exploring. Now, you want to leave these guys exploring for a decent amount of time. Me personally though, I wouldn't go over an hour and 20 minutes. Usually it takes a decent amount of time if you want to maximize your production. As for example, Michelle here just got to level 2. It doesn't increase stats as you would think it would with leveling up. It actually just kind of increases their health. So if they get attacked, they can take a lot more hits. And they just level up over time. So my resources are doing okay. And now we just kind of have to wait. If I wanted to, I could build another living quarters to hold more people, to maximize production, and go ahead and send more people out exploring. Now, you don't want to send too many, but basically how exploring works, I kind of explained it a little bit. But so this person's been exploring for 1 minute. If I was to click recall, which brings them back, he would come back, but it wouldn't be instantly. So what it does, it cuts the time in half. So if he was exploring for an hour, it would take him 30 minutes to come back. And that's pretty much how exploring works. The better you can equip them with armor and weapons, and the better stuff you give them, the longer they can explore for. So I'm just gonna send these people exploring. Nothing special. What I can do, I have 2 extra people. What I can do is put them in the generator, because we're pretty low on the generator resource to power our vault. And as you can see, they'll talk in text obviously, but they'll talk here and there. Just kind of interesting at the beginning. You just want to keep collecting your food and water, and at this point you should probably close your application and maybe set a timer. So I'm gonna let these guys explore for a little bit, and I will open up my application in about an hour or so and see what they've gotten, and I will go from there. Okay, so while my explorers were out exploring, I've added a dining room, and I've also added another water room to increase my production because they're running kind of low. I think right now I'm around 47 minutes, which, as you can tell, the health is almost at half for them, which is why I only recommend you go about an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm gonna get that to around an hour and 20 minutes, and I will be back. Okay, so my dwellers have been sitting for around an hour and 20 minutes. Some of them are a little over, but it shouldn't matter. Now, normally the loot would appear in the bottom. It would say all the loot you get, but what happens is when they find stuff, they instantly equip it. So, for example, this guy found a pistol. As you can see, he's holding it. This lady found an outfit. This guy found an outfit and a laser pistol. And then this person also found an outfit. And I'm also getting a little bit of caps. 18, 17, 99 here, 60 here. But overall, not horrible. So I'm just gonna recall all these guys. And now, basically my next goal, what I really need is a med bay. And I need one more dweller in my vault to unlock this. So that'll basically allow me to go farther on quests. I'll be able to progress way more in the game. So I also added one more dweller. This guy right here. He kinda just showed up at the vault doors, so I got him working down here. He has not the best stats. Progress is a little slow in the beginning, but a couple more things to cover is your little menu here that you can press circle to open. So the first thing here is lunch boxes. Now you get these by completing quests. I haven't gotten any, so I can't really open none. The second symbol is the quests. Now you only unlock quests when you get the Overseer's office. As you can see, you can't access it. The Overseer's office is when you have 18 dwellers in your vault. The next thing is your objectives. Now these are very good to complete. You should always keep up with them, because you get lunch boxes and you get caps. And in the beginning, they're pretty easy. So collect 50 food, level up 1 dweller, and collect 50 water. This is all very easy stuff. Lunch boxes in the early game is like huge. You need as much of those as you can get. Just gonna complete that quest real quick. Get a little bit of caps. Just got another lunch box. Usually they don't give you too many lunch boxes later in the game. You still get some, but the beginning part is probably the biggest deal. So you really don't want to skip these quests. You want to make sure you get these lunch boxes. Alright, so I'm pretty much waiting for my guys to get back. And then, hopefully by that time, I'll have a med bay going. Okay, so this is gonna be it for episode 1, the beginner's guide. And next episode I should have the med bay, and hopefully a better vault going.